Okay, so let me see if I can get this set up. So I I used to play League of Legends every day. I started playing in 2016 when I started grad school. And when I was in grad school, there was no time for a real social life. So League of Legends was my social life. And I loved it so much. I've always loved spending time in online games and online communities, talking to people from all over the world. It was my dream as a child to have friends all over the world. And because of the internet, that happened. And I loved it. And then also, I grew up always being told that I was too much. And then also feeling in person a lot of times like I didn't want to overwhelm other people because I was so passionate. I like to talk a lot. I had a lot of quirks and stuff. I was always holding myself back. But online with my gaming buddies and stuff, I could just relax. I could just relax and be myself, talk as much as I wanted to talk, ask people questions. I notoriously interview everyone that I bring into my Discord server. I even have some Google Docs where I make little notes about them so I can remember who they are since I meet a lot of people and I struggle with memory stuff. Anyways, I think I mentioned at the beginning of this video that's here on the screen that I had been experimenting with live streaming because I'd already been hanging out in voice chat and online for hours and hours and hours at a time for years. Well, online with friends for years and in Discord for at least 4 years doing the voice chat thing with gaming and stuff. So me talking for long periods of time and all that kind of stuff was not an issue. I think it says a lot about my family that they had no clue that I mean they didn't know I had ADHD, and even though I'm gonna try and go see if I can get an official diagnosis. Just because if I do go back to school for my doctorate, I want to make sure that if I go through one of my periods where I'm low functioning, that I'm accommodated because I go through cycles. I have in the past. It's my hope that because of all of the spiritual experiences I experienced while in the hospital, that maybe I'm good. I feel like I feel like God is telling me that I'm good right now. But everything's a cycle, and like bipolar runs in my family. I'm bipolar, but I'm like mild. Like so, when I do have a manic episode, it's the milder form, hypomanic or something. Usually, and I know it's this is the thing. It's like my mom. Anytime I show any amount of passion or energy in the past, now I think she's gotten used to this idea in the last few years. But she'd always be like, "You're manic, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not manic. I'm just very passionate, and I'm used to having these periods where my brain just stops functioning and I can't articulate or take things in. So when I'm not in one of those periods, I have to get everything out. I have to get everything out. I have to say everything that I can. I have to do all the work that I can. I have my creative flurries and all that kind of stuff. It is so frustrating. The experiences that I had during COVID, my life has been fantastic since then, and it's partially because of what happened to me in the hospital. And I didn't realize that I was still upset with my family about this, and I think I have forgiven them. I think what it is I have not forgiven myself for not establishing stronger boundaries, telling them that they were wrong and full of shit, and basically unfriending every single one of them, except maybe my mom, because she's my mom. Um, so this video, for those of you that don't know, this my case was really interesting. In 2020, during the height of the pandemic, I caught COVID. I was sick with COVID for 2 weeks at home and prescribed, antibiotics and steroids, definitely steroids, um, just from a clinic without going in, just, kind of like call in, drive by kind of stuff. Anyways, it kept getting worse. It turned out that I had pneumonia as well. I went to the ER twice before being admitted. The first time I wasn't admitted basically because they were short staffed and the people working, they didn't have a room and all that kind of stuff. And my blood oxygen was low. Thank God for Jenna Ridlin, Dr. Jenna Ridlin, on Facebook. Thank God that I share so much on Facebook, because she saw some of the stuff that I was sharing, and she reached out to me because she realized that I was probably in worse shape than I thought. And, anyways, long story short, I ended up spending 16 days in the hospital during the height of the pandemic. And since the second time I went to the ER, I was pretty sure that I was going to be staying there for a little bit. So I took my computer, I took my iPad, and I had my phone. And, for reasons, because of my training and my natural curiosity, and knowing that we were in the height of the pandemic, that nobody knew what was going on inside of the hospitals, especially from a patient's perspective, I actually felt excited as an artist, and as a community member. I felt like I could give my community a peek into what it was like, and, answer some questions and figure some stuff out or whatever, and be of service to my community. And so I felt like I was the perfect person to catch COVID and to get put in the hospital, especially since I'm OCD about taking pictures and documenting everything. So while I'm in the hospital, I'm taking lots of pictures, I'm making notes. When the staff come in, I'm asking lots of questions about how things are working and stuff like that. And anyways, it was very isolating. They had to come in full hazmat suits, and they didn't come in very often. And there were a lot of issues. I was not oriented. I didn't know for days that I could, that I could take a shower. There was no evidence visible to me, because the one tub that had all of the bathroom supplies in it was behind a door. They didn't tell me that I could be disconnected from the machine. So every time I needed to go to the bathroom, I couldn't even get on the toilet all the way. I just had to, kind of lean over in order to use the bathroom. And when I went into the hospital, I was on my cycle. I had been wetting myself because I was so sick. And anyways, I was nasty. So it was day 3 that I think someone came in to clean the room, and they shut the bathroom door. And when they shut the bathroom door, I saw there was a shelf with a bin on it. And in that bin, I saw bathing supplies. And then I was like, oh my God, I can take a bath. Because the first few days, I was obviously in shock, but I was also trying not to bother anybody because I knew that we were in this heightened situation. Anyways, that shower I had was the best shower of my life. Still the best shower of my life. So this video, I decided today that I was going to log in and play League of Legends. I used to game all the time. I haven't played in forever. My birthday's coming up, but I'm not going to be around. Anyways, I sat down to play League. And I decided, you know what? I'll go live stream on Twitch, which is where I used to live stream when I played video games. And I went to go download some live streams that I had done recently of other stuff, when I saw that this video from 2020 was still up there. They hadn't deleted it. And it wasn't published. I'm going to publish it when I finish listening to it. I got, 10 minutes left of it? But in this video, I'm talking about... I talk about how worried I was about Carl, because he doesn't take care of himself, all that kind of stuff. And he was homesick with COVID. And when he went to the ER, they diagnosed him with COVID, but they didn't even prescribe anything. So we had to follow up with our clinic and get them to prescribe him medicine, since the ER that he went to, and we paid good money to go to, didn't prescribe him anything. That was a big fail, in my opinion. And I'm so worried about Carl that regardless of the situation I'm in, I can't rest and stuff because I'm worried about my husband. And there's no one at home, because we're isolating, to be able to keep an eye on him if things get worse. In this video, I also talk about my family freaking out because I did a 4-hour live stream. And dear God, come on. They cared more about being embarrassed, or about me embarrassing myself and people thinking I was crazy or something, than they did about the fact that I was in a high stress, very, there's a chance that I could have died. And that live streaming, that lifeline, that connection to my community, that connection to other people, that was what was keeping me going. That was what was keeping me somewhat sane. And, I guess I'm still upset about it because, I never get apologies about anything, and they probably still don't even understand. like why that was important. You know, they're just more about image, image, image. Well, you know what? My life is important, and that was what was keeping me alive. That was what was making me feel connected to other people. That was what was giving me a hope and a sense of purpose. And they kept calling the hospital trying to get them to take away my devices. And thank God they wouldn't. Also, in this video, I talk about my discovery because I was interviewing people that I'm the only COVID patient in the hospital that's lucid. There were 30 patients, half of them were on ventilators, half of them weren't. I wasn't on a ventilator. I'm the only one that was lucid, so they didn't know what to do with me. And I do know, like the two people that were closest to me, I just heard zombie sounds all the time of like, I don't even know what was going on. It was kind of funny at times and then creepy at others. And anyways, I talk a little bit about how, as a graphic designer and particularly user experience, I'm looking around trying to figure out, okay, where are things falling apart, and what are the solutions to these that could make things better for the staff and for patients right now. You know, and one of the things I noticed was there was no information anywhere. I wasn't oriented to my room, which that was a failure on their part. But if they had just had a printed booklet with information, if there had just been a poster on the wall that's like, hey, nurses will provide you with this, this, or this if you call them, or something about bathing procedures, but nothing. And I'm an intelligent person, even being in shock. If I am struggling with something, I, who have had all this education and am pretty fucking intelligent most of the time, I know other people are struggling too, and their needs aren't being met, they're being mistreated or neglected or whatever. And anyway, so I felt like I've had a sense of purpose because I saw all these things. And I was like, man, like I could make up a poster for this real quick. If someone, I even tried talking to somebody at the hospital, to share these ideas, like, hey, this could help your staff and your patients. But, I kind of gave up on that after all the, just my hospital experience. It got fun real quick. I don't remember which day it was right now. I don't have my timeline in front of me. Day 4 or 5, I had a PTSD episode because I realized that was the hospital my mom worked at on the weekends that allowed my ex-stepfather to still have access to me after we had moved into a different house. And then a day or two later, all of my spiritual stuff happened. And I didn't know what channeling was at the time. So for me, my experience was that God came into my body and possessed me and started making videos and telling me all kinds of crazy stuff that I didn't understand at the time. And that it took me a while to work through, to realize that was an experience and stuff. I also had a near-death experience that was beautiful and amazing and so visceral, and a lot of really cool supernatural experiences on top of documenting everything. And I had meant to do work on this project, but my focus has shifted to more of my spiritual stuff. And even though this is related because it's basically part of the origin story, I feel like I don't know who is working on this kind of stuff. Because, I mean, the pandemic, there can't have been very many people that were documenting what their experience was like in the hospital at that time. I have to be one of very few. But I have no idea who to share this with in order to spread it or anything like that. And honestly, I really don't have the time to do much with it. I have so many projects. I just wish I could find like a researcher or a scientist or another artist that wants to take this and add it to part of their collective or something to do something with, because it was quite the experience, and there's so many pieces to it. So anyways, let's see what else I have to say.
Every minute, because my life is in that much danger. Like, I don't know exactly how much danger my life is in exactly. Um, and yeah, so this has been a really um, overwhelming experience. And I'm not a stupid person, and if I'm having this much trouble, I can only imagine how much trouble other people are having. And now I know that I'm the most lucid person on this floor, and that's probably why I'm the first person to actually be conscious enough to be aware that, oh, like, this isn't being communicated, etc. And yeah, so I don't know if any of my JSU people are watching this, but I might be changing my thesis project. Um,
I had to think about it.
and, the course of my career may very well change from this experience.
Well, that
And
happened.
even though this whole situation sucks and
Not in the way
stuff,
I
um,
imagined, but
in a way, I feel like I am glad that this happened to me because I am in a unique situation to where I am aware that I have professional knowledge that could be applied to this new pandemic situation that we're in and that could be utilized to help improve things for others. And so, I wasn't really planning. This was going to be super brief, and I'm going to end this very soon because I wasn't planning on talking about all of the video, but it comes up naturally, and hopefully at least one of you like are listening to this and whatever, and if not, like I've just been talking about this, and it feels good to talk things out, and I can later go back and look at this video and be reminded of my ideas. But Carl and I think are doing well, and I am very hopeful that we're both going to be okay. Um, but I do know that I still need to take care of myself, and I have a lot of healing. And like I said, the plan, my treatment plan right now, I don't know how long I'll be here. I'm pretty sure that I'll be here. I'm pretty confident that I'm definitely going to be here at least until Monday. I could be here longer. I'm fine with them keeping as long as they need me because I want to recover and not come back. Um, but also, um, the complication that put me in the hospital is the oxygen saturation thing, which is a complication from COVID, pneumonia, etc. And their plan for getting me off of the oxygen is I have this Valdine, I have this thing, which I think I showed a little bit yesterday, and I'm supposed to use this thing 5 times every 15 minutes, and basically um, I um, I breathe in air from this thing to put air in my lungs, to expand my lungs. We're trying to increase my lung capacity and stretch my lungs. And so I'm to use this tool
I didn't
to
use it enough.
exercise
But
and stretch
it
my
did help.
lungs so that my
Yeah,
lungs
find it
can
and praise
hold
it now. See if
and
I can
process more air.
exercise my lungs.
And
Actually,
if I'm a good Carol and I do my exercises well, I feel pretty confident um, that doing this will help get me off of needing to be hooked to an oxygen machine. So, so hopefully seeing and knowing what, they are still pumping me full of drugs and stuff, which is definitely helping. But the drugs can't enlarge my lungs. And I learned a few other things about what's going on in my body with the COVID. There's all these weird complications and stuff, but that's basically like the most essential part of what's going on. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, so that's good. So, I don't know who's still in here. Maybe Carl is. Thank y'all for all of your well wishes. And I still plan to blog, and I will probably do more video updates, and it's my hope most of my video updates will be pretty short. But for me, this is like it's a lot quicker for me to sit here and just talk to whoever like hops in for a minute than it is for me to like individually message every single person. But I freaking want y'all to know that, even if your comment is just like a freaking high five or thinking of you, I really appreciate them. Like, I appreciate all of the good energy. It means a lot. And I'm not normally, or don't normally consider myself a very like mushy or emotional person, but this shit got real quick, and I definitely have. I mean, I feel like I've always had an appreciation for my community and all the people that I know, but I mean, now more than ever, because I swear that I feel like I would probably be dead by I could possibly be dead right now if I had not in a way crowdsourced my own healthcare advice by posting about stuff on Facebook and knowing enough people and getting lucky to know that some of the people I know know some good professional stuff to give me advice in this crazy time. So, thank you, Deborah. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say good night, and I'll check in again tomorrow and stuff. But I do feel like I I feel like Carl and I are both to the point that everyone can stop worrying that we're gonna die at any minute. So hopefully you can all sleep better tonight too. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the first night that I actually like sleep okay. So, anyways, all right. I love you all. Thank you, and just keep sending us that good energy. That's more than enough. And like I'll see y'all around.
I'm feeling so emotional. Mm. I have too much going on in life right now to work on this project myself. But I don't imagine that there were very many people that live streamed and documented their experience of being inside the hospital during the height of the pandemic. And I still believe that my story is probably one of the best stories on this planet, especially given everything that's happened since. Obviously, I'm biased, but it's definitely up there. Oh, God. Okay, well, I'm going to end this and go see what the sound is like so I know whether I can upload this video or not.